Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Knock, 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 and let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? All right, and so our card for tonight is the Six of Wands. And this is all about victory. Joy, optimism, self-importance. Maybe some recognition for your achievements or victories. Usually it comes along with a lot of emotional abundance. Okay, so I kind of want to start. I want to start right here. Okay, so it looks like we have a person here kind of pulling away this way. We have a person here pulling away this way. We have a larger energy right here. It looks like a person as well. Arm reached out, maybe like a big dress or robe or something. And so what this says to me is that there is a bit of a sense of disharmony, maybe in a close relationship. There's kind of like not exactly a rift, just kind of things that are pulling your attentions in different directions, right? Busy. Things to take care of, people to mind. And I feel like this is probably a close relationship. So this might be your spouse, your significant other, one of your children, family member, parent, somebody. Okay. And, you know, I think that things were normally close and stable recently. I don't think that this is necessarily a sign of instability, but I do think that this is kind of just one of those things that happens where, you know, you kind of go about your business the opposite ways. Here comes Pudgy. I can hear him meowing. Hi. Say hello to everybody and then you gotta go. All right. Come on. Come on, you old man. Let's go. You can't linger for too long, my love. Come on. Come on down on my lap. Come on, buddy. I know it's getting late. We're all tired. Okay. Okay. Go on now. All right, so as you know, we have these little trickster spirits. Pudgy and TT, they love to come and say hello. Okay, so I don't think it's anything big. I don't think that there's any kind of big drama happening, okay? But I think that at times in relationships, we grow apart as individuals. We get busy. Things just, get in the way of being together. And that is, that's just how it goes, I think. I feel like in this in this situation, does it feel great? Maybe not, right? Sometimes it maybe even feels a little bit terrible. But here's the interesting thing is that this feels like quite a motivator. And this is where this larger formation being, this energy comes in. A motivator for you to face inward. Okay. This is kind of that guardian angel, fairy godmother. And so I feel that, you know, this is really turning into a place of journeying towards that path of, you know, greater self-work. Okay. When we are very in love, right? Or when we are going through periods of happiness in our material world, which is wonderful, of course, right? It can be distracting. It can be distracting to spiritual work, religious work, work within our spheres of psyche, mental health, healing. Not because, you know, love is a very healing energy, of course. But it can be difficult to want to go into those places of devotion, of, you know, processing trauma, integration, self-reflection, contemplation, meditation, all of those things, when you are enjoying your life together. You know, you're busy with the regular things, and then you get some nice time with your people, your friends, your family, your beloved, your spouse, significant other. And, you know, unless you are a very, you know, regimented person, very devoted person to the path, sometimes it just kind of gets out of focus a little bit. And so I think that when these progressions happen, where we kind of, you know, have to kind of unclasp each other a little bit and spend more time, maybe alone, or, you know, doing things with the family, but then we have more individual time. Schedules are conflicting, whatever it is. This is when, you know, we could piddle it away with feeling sorry for ourselves, for being upset, seeking the attention of others, these kinds of things, right? Or, you know, we work on our projects, we work on ourselves, we work on that self-development. And I think that this is where you are. You're developing your passions, you're healing your hurts, you're being guided by this beautiful energy, you know, trying to look on the bright side of things, that this is a blessing. You are secure in your attachments. You have lots of room to go exploring within yourself. You have lots of room to spend time with those divine things. And that's okay. You know, it's okay to do that. It's even more than okay. It is most necessary. You know. See, the thing about relationships, I think, and this doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a best friend, a platonic relationship, a family member you're very close with. The close thing about having, or the close thing, the thing about having a close relationship is this, in my opinion. They're wonderful. Okay, of course. It's nice to know somebody is there. It's nice to grow with somebody. It's nice to feel comfortable in yourself with another person. But not unlike a toxic or destructive relationship, it can begin to, it can create a environment of complacency, which, if you are in a state of kind of stasis with somebody, it begins to rot. Not just the relationship, your own psyche. The idea of just kind of being still in a fixed state, combined with another being, that sounds lovely, doesn't it? But it's, that's not the nature of reality. Everything is always changing, moving, evolving, and so we must stay about the work. And yes, of course, there are times when the work involves other people. If you are blessed enough to find somebody in your life who connects with you on a deeper level, spiritual, philosophical, magic, whatever it is, that is wonderful. And the work can be done side by side sometimes. But you cannot make that the center of your work, can you? This is, I will get on a tangent about it. I'm not gonna go down that road. But this is something to be mindful about. Now we have a little dragon next to a large candle, and the candle seems to be blowing a bit. Okay, so we have this kind of illuminating symbol, illumination, the guide, right? We have the little dragon. Fire, fire, fire. And it seems to be blowing, right? So there's an airy quality here. So when combined, I think that this is a beautiful sign of, necessary lifeblood, that fire, that creativity, that thing that is waiting for you to access, right? It's flowing through you all the time, of course, through all things. But when you go about accessing it and you apply it to the work alongside of this kind of airy, intellectual, conscious and intentional, right? That's when very potent, powerful work begins. And so I think in the absence of this safety, well, there's always a safety within this other relationship. I'm not saying that there's not. But in the absence of this closeness of that, this shelter, which, shout out to Bob Dylan, one of my favorite songs, Shelter from the Storm. Beautiful, right? To be somebody else's shelter, to have shelter in somebody else within a relationship. But to be without that shelter, you must do something to survive. Right? Sometimes we need that motivation. We have to. So I think in that absence, this is where, you are coming into a very special place in your life. This is where that victory is really just overflowing, seeping out of the walls. I think it's very close to you. Okay? And I think it's interesting too, because as this space within this momentary absence opens up, so appears a lot of things that when there's overlapping of two beings or more than one, a few beings, a family unit, whatever, the things that arise, the feelings, the things that are in combination, when you learn to do things, you start to come into confidence about, I can do all this stuff as a unit. I'm learning as our family how powerful I am. That I can, take care of each other, that I can, love and be loved and all these things, right? But it's kind of always like, and if you've ever had a child or been married or, been in a very close relationship with, anybody, that you tend to take on this we. Oh, we're going somewhere, or we're doing this, or we thank you. These kinds of things where it's kind of it's a unit, right? And that's okay. But when there is that closeness that kind of you get a little space from, you are doing this work for yourself, and you remember who you are outside of the in relation to others. Being somebody's mother, father, sister, brother, child, whatever, significant other. And so I think there's a lot of power in that. And it's okay to vacillate between these places. We're so many things, aren't we? So when we do have this little break in the normal way of things, or it is part of the normal that, things wax and wane, of course, making use of it. Making use of it. Not squandering it with, frivolous stuff, emotional, dramas and garbage and ordeals that don't need to happen necessarily. For one, I get like that. I have a lot of, what is that called? Like attachment anxiety. Just because of how my life has gone. I've had a lot of death, a lot of trauma. Abusive relationships and things. So it's hard, and we all have that to some degree, of course. But if we become mindful of it and we see, okay, we're going to be on opposite schedules for a couple of weeks or months or whatever. That sucks, there's not a lot of time for connection, or we won't be seeing, you don't get to see your best friend, whatever. They're going to be traveling, whatever it is. We'll make the best of it, right? We'll be conscious of it. Okay, now I'm going to find some things I want to do for and with myself. I have this time. Okay. And I want to look at this one too. we have some over here I haven't talked about. Okay, so it looks like a little bird kind of feeding from a flower. Beautiful. I love it. It feels like, the nectar of the gods, right? And it is. It's in that emotional area. It's on close to the rim where that metaphysical, divine, cosmic consciousness, all these things kind of come through. And so I feel that there is kind of these tastes of a new or kind of older feeling of joy. Maybe back in the day when you were with yourself often, when you're young, right? Coming into adulthood, you've left the house, the family, your parents don't get to rule you anymore. Maybe you haven't met your spouse yet or your partner. Maybe you don't have kids yet. You're just kind of out there on your own, doing the thing, just doing it. And so, but we forget about what that feels like. And those days are hard usually. We all kind of struggle through those years a bit. But there are moments of joy in that kind of being your own singular entity, right? And, usually, unless you had children young, there is a feeling of being untethered to anything, which is a very brief feeling in life, I think. There's a small window. Maybe when you get older, into those golden years, you feel that a little bit again. Okay. But we do get little glimpses of it when we have time to ourselves. When we have to kind of make use of the times where we're not, in the mix of everything all the time. Okay, and so we also have, it looks like a person kind of, it almost looks to me like they're kind of on their knees a little bit, but they're holding out their arms. And this looks like a giant faucet, doesn't it? Like one of those old ones they used to have. Maybe they still make them. I don't know. Where I'm at, they don't. Oh, goodness. TT, you can't just jump at my face. This cat, she just jumped right at me. They used to have them just like out in the yard where they would stand straight up, and they had the little faucet that you would turn. Now most of them are attached to the side of the house, or, maybe it's just different where I grew up versus where I live now. So, anyways, I feel like this is, again, not unlike this image of the bird with the flower, kind of looking for those emotional waters, right? Again, another vital substance element, right, to produce life, wellness, vitality, absolution, right? Working on that healing, letting go. And I think you are all about that. This is being on the knees. It's not begging. It's not, anything like that. It is a devotional posture. Okay? Humbling of self. And not like in the Bible, and I don't remember the names. I'm sorry. I don't know all of their names, but I know the story, at least in the Passion there, where Jesus he's brought into a home, and two sisters, they wash the feet of this prophet, right? And some people might look at this as, this is an elevated person, so we must, get on our knees and tend to them, and it's kind of, almost like you're on a lower level, but that's not what it is. There's power in humbling of self, and giving, and charity, and, these acts of love and service, okay? And so, sometimes you have to be of service to yourself. Be of service to that most divine work that we do throughout our lives. Jung called it individuation, integration of the archetypes of the different qualities of personality and principles of self. Embracing even the ones that we are afraid to, right? The things within ourselves we sometimes can't bear to look at. But through these processes, we have to learn to, accept, transmute, sublimate, integrate. And what does that mean? I mean, those are all fancy words, right? But what that really just means is when we have a part of ourselves that we feel is ugly, maybe like jealousy, wanting, a tendency towards loneliness, whatever it is, and we don't want people to know that about us. It's shameful. It feels shameful. So we embrace it. And we treat these parts of ourselves like we would a child. If my child, who is 3 years old, is lonely, I'm not going to make her feel bad about that. Right? So why would we do that within ourselves? And so we love these parts of ourselves and we raise them up. And we try not to judge. We just feel what we feel. We let it wash over us. We make use of it. We put it into the work that we do with others, right? If we can learn to embrace parts of ourselves that are painful, so then we go out into the world and we are more accepting of others. We can help others find ways to deal with themselves just through being accepting of them, right? I mean, I think so anyways. And this isn't a righteous path, but it is a path of victory. It really is. It's a path of learning to live as a more whole and holistic being. Trying to get rid of some of that baggage we have, right? The conditioning, the baggage, those things that just kind of are like tied around our neck sometimes. They make us suffer. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Spilling tea all over the place. Okay, so I see a little cardinal, and if you've watched any of my other readings, you know when we see a cardinal, it means somebody is visiting you from the other side. Somebody who loves you, who is embracing you. They're saying a hello. You've been thinking about them. Okay, and they want you to know that they know that. And they're here with you. Okay, maybe a grandmother, maybe a mother. Somebody older, though. Somebody who maybe passed some years ago. But they're there with you. And I think really, along with all of these things, this feeling of growth, this feeling of being really motivated to go in, right? Go in deeply. It's always something to mention. Taking care of our routines, our sleep, how we're eating, remembering to eat, remembering to get as much sleep as you can, restful sleep, drinking your water, being careful outside. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it is very warm. And, just doing the things that help keep your mental health going well as you can. Intentional movement and all these things. Just very basic stuff. But, we easily abandon some of those things because that's life. We get busy. We're overbooked. We're stressed. We're, melancholy. We're full of energy. Whatever it is, those things can sometimes fall to the side and we forget about them. I'm sure that you have gone the whole day and thought, I don't feel that great. I don't think I've eaten anything today at all. Sometimes it happens, so we have to be mindful. Okay. All right. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me and for allowing me to do this reading for you. It is always such an honor and such a pleasure. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, the reading, it helps the channel get into the algorithm and get out there to more people. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next video is coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read every single one of them. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get to it. Right now I'm running about a day behind. I'm trying to get through them. It's just been so busy. And it seems busier even though we're inside more because it's been so hot. I thought, okay, I'll have some more time inside and we'll get some stuff done. And my goodness, it doesn't work that way when you have a toddler. They just are wild when they're, trapped in the house. So, yeah. I'll get to them though, I promise. All right. I thank you, and we will talk again real soon.